What's going on? How are you, Zach?
Good. How are you, man?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. Hanging in there.
Thanks for doing this. You hanging
Uh,
in?
yeah, I am. Rough times, right?
Yeah, it's crazy times. None of us have lived through anything like this. So for the people who don't know who I am, I'm Zach Lowe. I work at ESPN. I have a podcast called The Lowe Post. For some reason, Pal wants to
Right.
talk to me. I have no idea why. So Pal, you grew up. You are the son of medical professionals. You wanted to be a
Right.
doctor when you were a kid, right?
That's right.
So you have a unique insight into this. Maybe I bet you've read more about COVID than most people in the world. You also wrote something yesterday for the Players Tribune
Yeah.
that I thought was very moving. You had a line in your essay about COVID
Thank
saying, "My health affects your health, and your health affects my health." And I thought that was very moving. It's a very obvious
you.
sentiment, but it's foreign to a lot of people. What did you mean by that?
Well, right now we're facing this pandemic with a virus that is highly contagious, and that's what I mean by the fact that everyone's health is now interconnected more than ever, and that's why we're are told to stay in confinement and to self-isolate, to be able to contain this until we have enough resources to combat. So it's really important to understand that, and that's why the interconnectedness now is more present than ever, and everyone's health is related regardless of any type of differences.
But that's something you think people need to carry on after this is over, whenever that is, right? People need to keep in mind that that's the case forever. It's not just now, but your health, my health, it's all interconnected. We have to start thinking beyond ourselves.
Well, there will be an after this, and the after this will be highly influenced by what we're going through right now. So the new normal, we don't know what that's going to look like, but it's going to be different, and there's going to be a transition when we come out of confinement progressively. That our habits are going to be affected. You already can see it in China, how they're getting out of it and getting back to a quote unquote normality, and how the different measurements, obviously now masks are being enforced, to be able to contain everything and not whether contract it or give it to anyone, until again we have more testing, we have more ventilators, we have more capacity in order to and we have more knowledge, and we hopefully find a cure eventually.
How are your loved ones in Spain, and what are you hearing from friends and family in Spain?
Spain has been hit extremely hard, as you guys have seen, just as Italy has, and everyone is affected. My family is no different. My team and friends are no different. I have people there from employees of mine that have shown symptoms. Fortunately, are not severe enough that they have to be hospitalized. So the doctors are telling them just to stay home, stay quarantined, and kind of manage it. But it's really hard. You know, a lot of lives are being lost. The country it's doing kind of the best they can with the resources that they have. But the interesting part is seeing how countries that have reacted in one way or taking one approach, kind of like what I like to call the suppression approach from the beginning, and taking it really seriously from the beginning, have been able to kind of contain it more, if you will, and not allow the curve to spike as much. And countries that said took it lightly, was like, well, this is not a big deal, it's not going to affect us so much, are really paying the consequences of it. So, it's hard, but it's it's a lesson to be learned for the future, for future viruses, pandemics, issues. We gotta learn from this and be better prepared for the next time.
That's what I really liked about your essay and your words on the Players Tribune, because there's a tendency when things like this happen to just, we got to get through, we got to get through, we got to get through it, and just sort of throw it away when you're done with it. And
Right.
that can't happen here. That we have to remember this, we have to plan better next time, all of that. But let's talk about more fun things, because I don't want to talk about this
Yeah.
too much. You and Rafa Nadal just announced a sort of another philanthropic thing that you guys are doing. So I'm curious, have you ever been, I know you're a big Rafa fan, Have you ever been at any of the epic Rafa Federer Grand Slam matches? What's the best one you've been at?
Well, the one that I was always kind of able to go to was the French Open. It kind of worked out better for my schedule. So I think I've been to probably 8 or 9 of them of his at the finals. Actually, there in Paris. So one of them or 2 of them were against Roger, and it was just a fantastic opportunity, a match to see those 2 guys going at each other, just as when he goes against Novak. So you know, those are like all-time classics from our generation. And we will miss him when they at some point retire. Hopefully, it's not going to be anytime soon. But you know, they're getting up there, and it's you know, just like everyone else.
I feel like seeing Rafa at the French Open is boring. You know he's going to win. He's never going to lose at the French Open. It's impossible.
I know, it's fun. It's boring in a way, maybe. But when you know him personally and you're close to his family, and it's still exciting to see him win and to see him dominate as the way he's dominated that surface in that tournament for pretty much his entire career.
So Rafa, Spanish basketball, and Spanish soccer all kind of took over the world at the same time. Mm-hmm. Who is your favorite soccer player? Just favorite guy to watch, most stylish guy for you on of all the sort of golden generation Spain national team guys?
Man, we had so many great players over the years, especially when we became world champions in 2010. You know, you could go with the tenacity of Puyol on defense. I was a big fan of his heart and how hard he played. But then I also loved you know, Xavi and Iniesta in midfield. They were incredible. And now we still have some of the younger ones at that time that are still playing with Gerard Piqué and Sergio Busquets, Sergio Ramos, Iker Casillas was one of the top goalies. We had a great team. That's what it takes to become and be world champion. So I love our team, you know, from top to bottom, and it was really fun to watch them play.
Would you guys argue like who's the better national team? Like who's really the most dominant team in their sport? Would you guys have debates about it?
The most dominant team, meaning in national team wise, or
Spanish basketball national team versus Spanish soccer.
You know that the Spanish media try to kind of mess with the soccer because we had our success. We won the World Cup in 2006, and we won a couple of like European championships. So to kind of create the debate or the controversy of, you know, should basketball get more credit and we should stop talking so much about soccer. So to kind of, I don't know, piss them off a little bit, if you will. But there was some reactions from players, and to me, my message was like, oh, hey, we're all playing for the same team.
Yeah.
It's not about basketball, soccer, you know, handball, hockey, tennis. We're all under the same flag, so let's just support each other. Let's not try to kind of face each other off or see who's better or who should get more credit.
Now, you wanted to play in the Olympics this summer. It would have been your 5th Olympics. Can you hang on? Can you hang on for 2021?
Well, I'm going to try, but first of all, I gotta focus on what I can control, which is my rehab, and kind of follow that process and get healthy, get that foot strong. And now then find out whether if I can or I won't. So that'll be the process. And right now everything is up in the air. So we have to kind of wait and see. It's hard to access any medical facility now to get any type of test done. So all that's been postponed and delayed. So I'm just gonna, you know, kind of take it one day at a time, just like everyone else. Do what I can, stay positive, stay strong, stick to my routines, and be ready for when I'm able to go out there and find out.
I always wondered about both you and Mark. When you reach the very end of your careers, right, would you go back and play a year professionally in Spain just to kind of round out your career, start where you came from? Did that ever interest you?
Yeah, no, it had appeal for sure and interest, but and I said it since I kind of left Spain or FC Barcelona to come to the NBA, but I always kind of said, you know, the longer I play in the NBA, which I love, it's going to be harder for me to go back and play 1 year in Spain. Mark has said this, I think, recently, that he would love to play his last year in Girona, that he played for before he came to the NBA, and means so much to him, just like Barcelona means to me. But we'll see. Maybe it works out. Maybe it's in the books. Maybe it's not. It's again, it has a certain appeal, but I still like to play in the best league with the best players.
Let's go through, because these are basketball fans. Let's go through some of the big moments of your career.
Mm-hmm.
So a little birdie told me that you were frustrated in Memphis. That's well known. When the trade happened, you were frustrated by the losing. You guys never even won a playoff game there. You faced juggernauts every single time in the playoffs.
I know.
And yet, when the call comes that you're traded to the Lakers, your initial reaction was not totally excited. Is that true?
That is true. Yeah, I was sad. At first, I was impacted. I guess to a certain point, I kind of not lost hope, but I kind of threw the towel that maybe I could be traded, and that I was there, and I had to deal with it. And we were going through another very challenging year with a new coach, with new players, not really talented enough to be able to compete with the best and make it in the playoffs. It seemed like he was a kind of constant rebuilding, retooling, and it's tough. So that was so when they told me, I couldn't believe it, because I felt like, okay, there was that sour feeling of, hey, I've given everything I had to this franchise, and now just like this, you're traded. And I couldn't even process. I wouldn't even process where it was to. That I was going to play and join an incredible franchise, one of the better ones or one of the best ones, and that was what that would mean for me in my career. Little by little, I started to understand once my head settled down and my shaking kind of stopped a little bit, because I was closing a door, or a door was being closed for me, even though I kind of wanted to do that for a period of time, and everything kind of worked out really well after that. But yeah, my first reaction was like a little bit like shock and disappointment.
And I think I read this story in something you either said or wrote. One of your first nights in Los Angeles, or first nights with the team or something, you were at a hotel,
Yeah.
and at some ungodly hour, like 2 a.m, there's a knock on your door, and you're like, who the heck is knocking on my door? So who was knocking on and how early was it in your Lakers time, and who was it?
Well, no, it was very early. It was right away when I joined the team in Washington, D.C. after my physicals in L.A. The team was on the road. I joined the team. I wasn't going to play. They had an afternoon game the next day on Sunday, and I was not going to play that game. I hadn't had a chance to practice or do anything, and Kobe had been texting me from the moment that I got traded, that when I arrived to Washington, D.C., he wanted to stop by in my room and kind of talk to me and welcome me to the team. I was like, I told him, like, hey, it's okay. I'm just going to be late. It's going to be 1:30 or so. So you don't have to. We can wait until tomorrow if you want. It's like, no. I'm coming. So he came. Obviously, I was happily surprised, and he told me, hey, I'm very happy that you're here. I'm very excited. This is great. But now let's go win a championship. So from the very beginning, he really sent a message of what it was going to be like and what he was about, and that kind of level of mindset that I had to be in. Losing and not winning a game in the playoffs, that's over with. Here we're going to go for a championship, and that was really, I think, great and unique and incredible from his part, and show what type of leader he was.
And so you immediately elevate the Lakers when you get there. You fit the triangle like a glove. Everyone said, all of your teammates have told me, no one ever picked it up faster than Pau. And you get to the finals, and you play the Celtics, and hard-fought series, and then Game 6, they roll you guys in Boston.
Yeah.
That, I think, I don't know if it was the low moment of your career, but it was definitely a pivotal moment of your career. People started questioning, is Pau tough enough? Is Pau tough enough for this? It was stupid, but people started saying it. I want you to take me back. What do you remember when you're 85 years old? What are you going to remember from that locker room after Game 6 when the Celtics beat you by 30 and it sinks in like, wow, we just lost the finals?
Yeah, it was incredibly painful to lose that final. And the way we did, I think the critical moment was the game we lost at home, where we were up
Game 4.
and then all of a sudden we kind of let we let the foot off the pedal a little bit, and then they came back, and I think Ray Allen had those 9 threes, I think, and they came back and stole one from us at home, which would game 6 would have been probably physically, mentally going into it, and then you still have a chance to get game 7. Even though it's complicated to do on the road, but you give yourself a chance. So, but the feeling after game 6 was of loss, of disappointment, of we got our ass kicked and we just lost a chance to win a championship. But and then when we got on the bus, and the Boston fans wouldn't allow the bus to move. Really, it took us forever to get to the hotel. They would hit the bus, and we had to kind of take all that in, because some of us wanted to get off the bus and start, and kind of release some of that frustration. Luckily, we didn't. And not that it would have happened, but it's just, we took that in and we really carried with us into the next season and into the season after that. And you can say that defeats or adversity could be your greatest teacher, and the greatest moment for you to grow. And it was for me as well. I didn't live up to the challenge in the finals. I felt like I didn't perform as well as I should at that level. It was my first finals. We had a great run getting to it, but it wasn't enough. Okay, so now let's make sure we go back to work from the summer to the first day of training camp, and we make sure we get it right this time, and we win it. And that's what we did, and things kind of played out well. We won back-to-back championships after that.
And Kobe was on you guys, all of you, that whole summer, right? Checking in, making sure everyone's doing work. Obviously, you faced him in the Olympics that summer, but that summer, you guys were in touch. You guys were just, hey, make sure we're ready to go, right?
Yeah, no, he, first he understood that we had to kind of face each other off or play the Olympics, compete, and that was important too. But his mind was always, I think, within the next season and winning a championship. So he did, obviously very well, and they won the Olympics. They beat us in the finals. And again, first day of training camp, I come back to the facility, and the first thing I find in the locker, it's the gold medal sitting in my locker, and that's just how it was like, okay, Olympics are over. Last year we lost the finals, but this year, let's make sure we do everything we can to win and not lose again, and that's kind of was the message to me, kind of challenging me to step it up, which I appreciated. And, I knew where he was coming from. I never really made me feel bad or insulted in any way. It was like, okay, this guy wants to win, and I want to win. So let's go, let's do it. So that's kind of how it played out.
Pick either one. 2009 in Orlando, Game 5, you win. 2010, the next season in LA, you win Game 7 against Boston. You get revenge. You have 19 points, 18 rebounds, like a tough as hell Game 7 for you. Yeah. Either one of those, what's a moment that you're going to take with you forever, whether it was a conversation in a locker room or an embrace on the court? What's, from winning those 2 titles, what's something that's going to be emblazoned in your head forever?
Oh, man. So it's difficult to say to actually get one of them. In the finals against Orlando, obviously it was my first win, and our first win as a team with that team after losing the Boston finals the year before. So a lot went through it. There's a video out there of Kobe and I talking, I think after game 1, game 2 at home, when we kind of were like talking about the pick and roll and kind of finding that pocket and where he could find me, how he was going to hold his guy and his back, and just to try to find that opening. And so that just meant like the connection and the commitment that was from both of us at that point, and kind of how we made it work. But then also the years after with the Celtics, I was kind of, we got to get them back for what we went through when they put us through in 2008. So, and then all the curse of the Lakers unable to beat the Celtics on Game 7, like the tradition, the rivalry. It was like a lot of emotion around that moment. But to pull through in Game 7 and the way we did, We were down, we fought, we kept swinging, we kept giving ourselves a chance. Met us three. You know, just the performance and the effort that went into it. It was something that I'll never forget. And then the hugs at the end. I still have a picture actually in my home in Barcelona of a moment where Lamar and Andrew and I are kind of hugging and embracing each other, and like the three of us are like screaming and crying to the sky. It's a beautiful picture, and I have it like printed in a wall at home.
That's great.
And because it reminds me of a moment that it was so incredibly unique.
Two more quick ones, then I'm going to let you go.
Okay.
And the last one's going to be funny. First one, people forget you were a Houston Rocket, or it seemed like you were going to be a Houston Rocket for about half an hour during the Chris Paul trade that was vetoed eventually. Do you ever, first of all, what was that like for you? Like, did you talk to Kobe? Did you guys have like the farewell conversation? And then second of all, do you ever play like, what if I had been a Rocket? That was a very weird thing.
It was. I haven't really seen anything like that with anyone else or any other trade for that matter throughout my career. So it was extremely weird. I remember seeing it. I remember there was some rumors. It was kind of heating up the conversation for a few hours, I think, and then all of a sudden, boom, it was done. So it was hard to see because I was like, okay, we kind of blew our chance last season against Dallas after having a great run. This is our chance to kind of get back on our feet and kind of put ourselves back up there. And then, you know, the Lakers decided to pursue the Chris Paul, a great young point guard, younger and you know, looking to the future and look at that. So it was tough, but then obviously the NBA owning a percentage or the majority of the New Orleans Hornets at the time, they decided to veto the trade. When David Stern decided to veto the trade, and then all of a sudden, all right, that didn't happen. Now let's go back to work, just as business as usual, and we're all, and it's all good, you know. So I understood.
It wasn't hard to go back after they had traded you.
It was difficult, you know. I think emotionally, it was difficult for me, but I tried my best. You know, I tried my best to be the best professional that I could be, and do my job, you know, at the end of the day, and kind of get back into it. It's like, okay, well, this could have happened, almost happened, but it didn't happen. It's part of the business, you know. You got to understand, and sometimes it plays in your favor, sometimes it doesn't. Who knows what that scenario would look like? You know, if you go and play, you know, you got traded with the Rockets, and then they get James Harden, and then who knows how would it look like at that time? But it didn't, and I was able to play 2 or 3 more years with the Lakers, and I've enjoyed that as well, even though they weren't our best years.
Last thing, I'm going to turn the phone around and I'm going to show you a picture from your rookie photo shoot in Memphis, because you have to explain what in the heck is going on in this picture and why it happened and what the point of this is. Okay, so here it is so everybody can see it. Can you see this?
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah.
What is this? What is this, pal? How did this happen?
I think it was, I don't know, I'm not sure. I think it was a photo that we took, maybe with the guys from Marca, the newspaper in Spain, I think, if I recall correctly. And they were
something in the cup?
Yeah, we were drinking a coffee, like having a coffee. We were trying to think of things. We were in a hotel. We had limited resources. I was like, okay, what can we do? What kind of photos? I think there was one that I was coming out of the shower. There was one that I was in the you know, they sent those guys to follow me. You know, obviously it was a big deal at the time. Second Spaniard to ever play in the NBA. It was a lot of expectation. I was young. It was, you know, it was quite a big deal.
Big deal.
So, but they sent those guys for a month to in Memphis, stuck at the Marriott downtown, and I was at the Marriott until we were able to rent an apartment. So we said, okay, let's just figure out what to do. So that was one of the pictures that we took, just taking I guess a cup of coffee or something. Even though I didn't drink coffee at that time. Now I do more for sure.
I thought it was like here's a European guy drinking like European
Yeah,
cappuccino. Let's do that.
It was that English reference to tea, or that coffee reference, you know, that is more like a kind of European with a small cup with espresso. Probably, maybe.
All right, Pau, you've given us a lot of time. Thank you very much. I encourage everyone to read the essay Pau wrote at the Players Tribune just yesterday about COVID. I wish you best of luck rehabbing. We all want to see you play again. And thank you for everything. And, you know, you're one of the all-time greats. It's a thrill to talk to you.
Thank you, Zach. And thanks for joining me and joining us. Thanks, everyone that's connected to our conversation. And I will enjoy listening to your podcast, because I like the Low Post. You know,
there you go.
I've lived in that area for a long time, and I've always taken pride of dominating the Low Post and becoming one of the better players at that. So that's also part of the reason why, you know, I enjoy talking to you, and I wish you all the best, and please be safe. Okay.
Thanks, Pau. Be safe out there.
Okay. Take care, guys. See you.
Guys, see you, everybody.
See you.